Hey there, it's JohnBerry555 and welcome to my 10-part miniseries where I'm going to be reviewing the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers, which was created by Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. So a quick overview real quick. The Band of Brothers follows E Company or EZ Company of the 505th, I believe, Parachute Infantry Division of the 101st Airborne. Not 505th, 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division. Have some notes here so that way so I can check this stuff up, make sure I got everything correct. But yeah, it follows their adventures from basically their training all the way to being sent home. So we're going to start off with part 1, episode Currahee, and we're going to end up with part 10 points. So expect that this is going to be one episode a week, so this is going to be a 10-week long miniseries for me. And today is going to be my review of part 1, episode 1, Currahee, which the name comes from where a mountain which is in the Appalachian foothills, I believe. Yeah, Appalachian foothills hills in Georgia by Camp Toccoa, which is where EZ Company trained. So we are introduced to essentially the main characters. Of course, characters get added and subtracted, which makes sense. This is following them through a war. We learn their training, we see them go on marches, we see them go on runs, and a big part of their training is running to the top of Currahee, going to the top of that mountain, 3 miles up and down. And we are showing them doing it in several different conditions. We're showing them doing it in PT uniforms. We're showing them doing it for a field pack. We even get one episode where Captain Sobel, who was training them, basically says, "You know what? They deserve it." Tells Winters they deserve a day off, so give them a good meal. And then he cancels the meal during the meal and tells them to run up. So it's spaghetti meatballs, so it's not the best meal to be running off of. But in some ways, I did some research. A lot of that does make sense. It gave them very hard training, but also prepared them for very rough conditions in combat and war. You never know what you're going to face, so in some ways, you do kind of need training to be rough and hard, so that way a soldier can perform the best and survive. Now, of course, we do get to see, though, near the end, and like the last thing training exercise before they are shipped off to Europe, Sobel make a bad call and gets the entirety of EZ Company killed in the training exercise. So not really killed, but it does show. They grew to respect him in some regards for him. They didn't always like him pushing, but you can tell that the men of EZ Company did grow to respect him. But for how they trained him, but as soon as they started going beyond the physical training into the combat training, you see that respect begin to deplete. And then it gets to the point where when they're in England, same thing keeps on happening. He makes bad calls. Granted, they do prank him once, and that doesn't help. But it gets to the point where all the NCOs are starting to resign because they don't trust his leadership. So basically, what probably the regimental colonel decides is, okay, we're going to transfer Sobel, but we're also going to have to demote and reassign all the staff sergeants, all the sergeants, all the NCOs, because that's not good. So a bunch of personnel reshuffling just in time for Operation Overload, which is going to be talk about the next review. But that is showing something, showing that the U.S. Army does value the judgment of the NCOs, but at the same time, they couldn't tolerate the behavior, so they did their best of both worlds, just move everyone around, and there we go. So, as I said, this is the first episode. It's probably, it involves just their training, but very important is establishing who EZ Company is. It's setting the ground, introducing us to the killers. Winters, Richard Winters, I get these names here. Sobel, but he doesn't come back, but he does come back, but not really. The regimental commander, Colonel Stink, yes, that's his name. Let's see. Also, I'm looking at cast of characters too, but several of the soldiers too. Many of them are introduced in here, which comes to play a big role later on in the show after the D-Day invasion, the episode replacement. So we're going to talk about that when we get to that point in the story. But I'm looking at these. There's other lieutenants and sergeants and soldiers, all that, but we get you introduce us to the characters. Since this is a historical miniseries, it's not a documentary. Let's make that clear. This is not a documentary, but it is still a history production. Therefore, it does need to be historically accurate, or should I say authentic. I do think there's a difference between historical accuracy and authenticity. Accurate is when you get the minutiae right. So you're getting things like uniforms right, you're getting food right, you're getting basically the trivial knowledge that sets the world. You're getting the large course events correct. Authenticity is when you make it feel right. You may have to make some changes to make it fit for the big screen or the small screen. Some changes there, but you're still true to what happened. You may have to condense characters and that, but you're still authentic to the history. This character may not have did that action, but this character who he worked with did. Meanwhile, if it wasn't all historically, essentially they go hand in hand and you need them both together. But there is a slight difference. You can be accurate to every single detail and still be not authentic. But you can also be authentic but not accurate. They go hand in hand, and when you get both together, it's correct. It's good. It teaches history but can still be entertaining. And Band of Brothers, like all non-documentaries, it does not get everything perfect. And we'll talk about that later in another part. But while it may not get every detail right, it gets the experience, it gets the feeling right, it gets the minutiae right. And that creates a believable world. But even more than that, it creates a scenario where, yes, this is what happened. Maybe some things are slightly different, but they not only made it accurate, but they made it authentic to the experiences of the men of Easy Company, the Band of Brothers who fought in the European theater of World War II. So that is actually where I'm going to end this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear your thoughts on part 1 of Band of Brothers down below. So feel free to put that in the comment section down below. Also, if you haven't done so already, feel free to check out the links down below and like and subscribe to the channel if not yet done so, and upvote, share across social media. You all know the standard YouTube drill, so I would like to say thank you for watching, and as always, have a day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one. Bye!